Well, there it is, finished. Uh, Talking a 25 by 16, fairly large pic here of a recreation from Captain Marvel number 29 from the Bronze era in the 70s there. Um, Finally finished it off. Over here you can see here's my reference. I made a download. I should have just taken a screenshot for that. I don't know. That's awfully bright actually. It's not coming across too well there. I don't know what I can do to... Yeah, well, you get the general idea, right? It's a Jimenez picture, actually. Um, anyhow, um, there were some slight changes I made in here, like adding some cracked shadow of my own. I like that idea. And as for the embellishment, I guess they were using Proquil pens or whatever. But when I went to do the feathering and stuff, what ended up happening as I was getting closer and closer to the finish, I was saying, like, just look at the structure and look at the drawing and decide for yourself, where you want to feather and what you want to do. Just think about it as, as your own piece and say, does it look good? If it looks okay, then don't mess with it. Keep the structure, keep the form, and that sort of thing. Slight differences in the planets. I used a bit more, you know, I used a gray wash kind of thing. I experimented with that. I don't know. This area here had to be filled in because there was title block areas there. Now up here it gets strange because up here you have what would normally be in the corner of the comic book. You'd have a not the title block, but the character block where they show a picture of the character and the price and that sort of thing. And in that there was like this radius that came out of that and went right around like this. So I decided, I'm like, I'll shape it as a planet. But that was just by like putting in the highlight of the white, right? But that was after I had already, put in, these, these quasar like suns and other stars and stuff. And then I ended up just leaving it there. I guess I'd blank it out, but I don't know. I like the way it looked, although it's not logical because if you had a planet like that, you wouldn't have stars in front of it. You'd have stars behind it, so to speak. But you know what I mean. But when you look at all of this smattering of, space and planets and quasars and all that sort of thing, it's all, about appearance. And I like the look of it, so I didn't quite blank it. Maybe I will. I probably will for the finished product. The finished product consists of, I'll be making a photocopy of this actual size, panel by panel, right? Like, 1, 2, and then 3, right? And then I'll have that copy that I'll use for the coloring process, right? I'll, and, from those stages, I'll, also be sure to get a shrunken down, more manageable sized, maybe an 11 by 8 that'll fit into a binder, right, for the portfolio, that kind of thing, and to keep a record on what was done, just for the files sort of thing, and for copies to send them out to various people. The actual or original art and blown up or large colored copy. I don't know. I think I might give it to my grandson. I'm not sure. And if I do give it away, I'll put it this way. I think the idea would be to give them the original as well, but I'm not sure about that. See, well, actually, see, the pleasure like a kid might get out of it is the aesthetic value of the picture itself, like what it looks like, right? But if you have a photocopy of something and and you're not presenting the original work, you know, there leaves doubt, right? I guess I'm insecure about that, right? I don't want you to doubt that it wasn't original work, right? So give them the full piece. Sometimes I thought about when giving away the work, give the various copies of the various stages to show this is the process, this is how it was done, just like the videos. But who knows? Anyway, I guess the next time you'll see this one, it will be in color, and I'm looking forward to that because, you know, I mean, it really is. It's a stunning cover. It's one of my favorites from the Bronze era. It really is. Like I said, you can't really see it that well on the laptop there, but that is it. It's a Jimenez recreation, and I'll go with the same colors that I'm pretty much seeing, right? I won't struggle to make sure they're exact or anything, but I'll get the basic colors that were left there, and that'll be good. About these here, I've been looking at these here. Now, as you know, these were originally a couple of rough sketches, and I blew up those rough sketches to fit more of the paper of the 11 by 8.5 or whatever it is, right? But I'm thinking to make them larger. Yeah, both of these larger like this. And to actually work larger, like the idea would be to take this one, because I look at it and I'm good with it, right? I can draw around it, I can pencil in the rest of the work and put in the backgrounds and stuff. But I think it would be better to blow them both up and put, you know, India ink them over the existing lines, right, that I've already put in. And then again, these are copies, right, but it's graying out because of the copying. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm thinking about changing an approach and starting to just, you know, go big like this and then start reducing it. Even if it is bigger than the standard, I don't know what that would be. What would that be, 11 by 17? Like something like this over here, 11 by 17. You start with and then shrink that down, but make it even larger. I mean, isn't that basically the idea? I mean, what's going on right now digitally is like they're blowing things up so they can ink with minute detail. Well, to me, if I'm saying, well, I'm going to go old school, the closest I can come to that without using a computer, if I am just using my pens and things for that purpose, the idea would be to go large and shrink, you know, and, you know, no compromise sort of thing. Because if you go large, you have more control of the detail, right? And then that's the idea. That was the original idea all along, right? All through the history of comic books, was shrink down the original work, and it gives it a crisper look. Anyway, the next time you see this one, it will probably be colored, unless I make some sort of radical changes. Let's see if I can turn this around so you can get the full pic there, because this camera's not entrapping the full image. You get me there? Anyway, this will end up, I suppose, in you know, in one of the series videos, if not in the year-end collage kind of thing. But anyway, that's that. That's pretty much it for this one. I don't think I'll be doing too much with it besides getting my copies and stuff. And like I said, giving it a once-over, go over everything and take a look and see if there's anything that needs to be touched up with either correction fluid or a little bit of ink here and there. Again, it's a recreation, Jimenez's Captain Marvel cover, number 29 from the 70s. A lot of fun. On to the next.